Hey guys, I'm Jenica Johnson, and today I'm going to crimp my hair while sharing some thoughts. I have been a dietitian. This year is going to be 13 years. That feels like a long time. I have learned a lot in the last 13 years, especially going from working for somebody else for most of that and now working for myself. I'm glad my career has gone the way that it has. I've really enjoyed everything that I've done, all the different career paths I've taken. I'm not really like a tutorial kind of person, so if I can, my hairdresser put me on this stuff, Kenra Platinum Hot Spray. I love it so much, it lasts me forever. I put heat protectant on my very long hair. So I'm gonna spray this. This is how long my hair is. Alright, so one of the things I have noticed in my 13 years of practice is that there is a lot of voices, a lot of opinions out there on nutrition, and it's really hard as a health professional to have people take you seriously. I know that dietitian, I went to school, I got a bachelor's degree in science and took a lot of classes that relate to the human body and how metabolism works, how that correlates with what we eat, and when it comes to personal preferences and personal biases, people get really out of sorts when something I say is different than what they've experienced. I truly feel that nutrition is an evolving science, so I will never claim to know everything. I think that is a good sign of a good health, that they are willing to learn and to keep studying, because science in itself is always learning and evolving. So when it comes to different topics, hot topics especially, I always give the perspective of someone who has read studies and reputable studies, not anecdotal studies. So coming to a health professional like a dietitian, sorry I keep looking both places, but I'm trying not to burn myself, I will always tell you something that's backed by science. And sometimes something that's backed by science is not what you want to hear. So that is hard for many people. I know from personal experience that what science says or what numbers say can be different for the client in the moment. So when things change like that, when things are outside of what I think it should be, I am the first person to admit it. I will say, okay, this is not what I expected, but this is how your body's reacting, and we will go from there. So if something a health professional says is different than what you've experienced, it doesn't mean the science is wrong, okay? It means that you have a different experience with that situation. It doesn't mean all scientific studies are bad. And I think that is one of my biggest pet peeves of people who don't trust health professionals and the way our culture is going. It's not just dietetics. It is everywhere. And yes, there are times where the science is wrong, and a true scientist will admit it. They will retract statements. So let's remember that we're all human and that we all make mistakes, and we're all out here trying to do our best and show some grace. Just know that sometimes there are people that are genuinely trying to help you, and one of those people is me. I stay up to date with research the best that I can because, like I said, everything is evolving and changing. Alright, my hair's so long you can barely see in the screen. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that I know that it is very easy, again, with the way our culture is evolving, with the way AI is evolving, to get all the information that you think you need to better your life. All right, say again, I'm not an influencer like this, but this is a Hot Shot Tools crimper. It's the wavy kind. It's my favorite. Shout out to my sister who let me borrow it Thanksgiving of last year, and it just happens to still be in my possession. Thanks, sis. All right, I know that when a lot of people think of seeing a dietitian, they think, oh, she's gonna tell me what to eat, and I can just go like one time and get the information I need and then not follow up with her. However, that is not everything that a dietitian does. Working with a dietitian is some of that, yes, but also a lot of accountability and checking in while we figure out what's best for your body. All my clients have one-on-one individualized plans. No two plans are the same, and what we often find is the things that are not working, like yes, you can go get AI to make you a meal plan, but why can't you stick to that meal plan? Why is it that you can know what to do but then not do it? And that is a big part of what I do as a dietitian. I listen to maybe what's going on in your life, maybe why we started these habits without necessarily wanting them. It feels like we're on a constant start and restart cycle. I get that nutrition is very personal. It is very close to home. And so I know that when you're coming to me, it is out of, I don't want to call it defeat because it's not defeat, but you've tried on your own and it hasn't helped. And so as many of my clients could tell you, it almost feels like I'm giving my clients permission to feel heard and free in their food choices. Being someone that has grown up with a lot of food rules in our media and just kind of how we were raised in the 90s and 2000s, there is a lot of learned habits that we have to unlearn, and that doesn't come easy and that doesn't come overnight. We need to accept that maybe the things that we were doing before is not best for us in the long run, and how do we go about eating healthy and making changes with some grace and some understanding that it wasn't your fault. It was our conditioning of the last however many years. I have had 3 clients just this last week tell me that working with me, a dietitian, gave them a sense of freedom they've never had before. They were able to go to a restaurant and not overly panic about what they were going to order. They were able to go to a birthday party and enjoy themselves and not constantly think about, did I eat too much, or did I eat the wrong thing, or what is this going to do to the scale this week? The ability to feel free around food and still meet your goals is lifestyle change. That is what I do. That is what I hope for all my clients, is to be able to live a free life around their goals. Because if you're feeling trapped or super restricted, or longing for a food that you've been told that you're not allowed to eat, like, that isn't freedom. You are still under the control of food. You do not have the control of food if you're constantly having to worry about whether or not this food is gonna derail you. Now, granted, of course, I give my clients goals. I give them some macros to follow, and we figure out your proper calorie intake. So, there's still goals, but the way we attack them is secondary to you actually living your life. I need you present in your life, and to eliminate that food noise or that constant struggle of, I don't like my body. We want to free you from that in a healthy and sustainable way. Hair's looking good. As someone who was born just inside 1980s, I love my hair crimped. I have a lot of hair. and I've always wanted big hair, and crimping my hair does that for me. My hair is so super straight. This that you've been seeing, I literally took a shower last night and let it air dry. It is that straight. But this gives me all the big hair of my dreams. So yes, working with a dietitian gives you guidance, accountability, and freedom in your life to meet your goals without feeling so overly obsessive over what we're eating. But of course, we see results. I think one of the things that has opened my eyes to being an entrepreneur or trying to get my own clients is that, and I'm not immune to it either, we love instant gratification. We love to see our results quickly. And in lifestyle dietetics, in working with a health professional, really fast results doesn't really go along in the same conversation. Granted, every single one of my clients see some kind of really fast result, but it might not always be scale. We do monitor non-scale victories, things like sleeping better, things like having less worry, like we talked about, the freedom. So there always is some result quickly, but it's usually not the scale result. And that is hard for my clients if they see that maybe it's gonna take about 12 weeks to see some of those numbers move. I've actually lost some clients to wellness companies that promise really fast results. Here's my hair. I love it this way. I get to wash it less when I do it. So in saying that, know that I never promise really big weight loss numbers quickly. But, I just got off the phone earlier today with my client who has lost 32 pounds of weight and has actually put on muscle mass at the same time. So there are results, but he's put in the work. We've been working together since November of last year, and that's what happens when you stay consistent. He is going through a very stressful time of his life right now. He's a teacher, it's the end of the school year, and he's still losing weight because we have built a foundation. So know that when working with me, you're in it for the lifestyle change, just so that it's sustainable. I hope you have a great day. Thank you guys so much for watching.